Some places don't feel real, like they exist just outside the edges of the map. The desert stretches out ahead, endless and quiet. The horizon seems to shimmer with heat. Out here, the signs of life are sparse. A few forgotten structures, an occasional ramshackle building, a nod to what we might find up ahead. We're heading toward Bombay Beach, a place that looks almost like a mirage from a distance. We've heard stories about this place and the nearby community in the desert with no rules, no utilities, and no clear boundaries. So today we're heading in, not really knowing what we'll find. From eerie, desolate landscapes to one of the most unconventional communities in America, this isn't your typical road trip stop. And honestly, we're not sure what to expect.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're Steve and Audra. We live and travel full-time in our 2019 Ford Transit van.
And after wrapping up months on the West Coast, we recently spent some time in the Joshua Tree area, and now we are making our way to explore an area that's pretty fascinating in Southern California. We're heading south to the Salton Sea.
Join us today for another Steve and Audra adventure.
This morning we've been making our way south from the Joshua Tree Cottonwood Springs area, and it's just absolutely fascinating how the landscape changes just within like an hour of driving. It's always so neat to explore different areas and to see how they change as we drive. So we have made it here to the Salton Sea. We're driving right along it, and it's kind of wild because there are all kinds of splatters on our windshield. It sounds like rain or bugs, but we can't tell what it is. It doesn't look like bugs. It's kind of a mystery.
Maybe it's Salton Sea slugs.
This is so bizarre. It really sounds like rain, but we don't see any water. It just looks kind of like we got a bunch of dirt on the windshield. So maybe it... Well, we have arrived in Bombay Beach. It's a place with a very fascinating history. First stop is the drive-in. It's hard to believe standing here now, but this place was once a booming desert getaway. Back in the 1950s and 60s, Bombay Beach sat along the shores of what was then seen as California's next great resort destination, the Salton Sea. Hotels, marinas, and vacation homes lined the water. People came here to water ski, fish, and escape the crowds of the coast. Some even called it the Salton Riviera, but the sea itself was never meant to last. Created accidentally in 1905 when the Colorado River broke through irrigation canals, the Salton Sea had no natural outlet. Over time, agricultural runoff began to flow in, bringing salt, chemicals, and rising salinity levels. As the water became more toxic, fish populations collapsed, bird life declined, and the shoreline began to retreat. By the 1970s and 80s, storms flooded part of the town, and as conditions worsened, people slowly began to leave. What was once a lively waterfront community faded into something quieter, stranger, and largely forgotten, but not completely abandoned. In recent years, artists, dreamers, and curious travelers have been drawn back to Bombay Beach, transforming parts of it into an open-air gallery. Installations made from discarded materials now dot the landscape, including this surreal drive-in of rusted cars facing a makeshift screen, as if waiting for a movie that stopped playing a long time ago. By the time we reach the water, we have felt it. A strange mix of isolation and imagination, decay and revival. This is a place where past lingers, but the future is being reshaped one installation at a time. Standing on the beach, looking across the shimmering water and scattered art, it's clear. Bombay Beach is a desert that holds its secrets, but is slowly telling new stories. And yet, even with this creative revival, there's still a feeling you can't ignore. A stillness, a loneliness, desolation. Like this place is standing still, caught somewhere between what it was and the hopes of regaining its past glory. In this surreal place, the sun beat down oppressively. We felt almost smothered by the heat as flies buzzed around us and invaded our space like a relentless army. Unanswered questions loomed. What will become of this place? Is there hope for revitalization, or will it remain seemingly forgotten?
So that was quite interesting checking out Bombay Beach. I think we would have poked around for a little bit longer, except for it's quite hot today. It's in the low 90s. Because of the temperatures, we actually debated not even coming down here, but we are glad we did the detour because it's just a kind of fascinating, interesting, unique thing to see.
Rising out of the desert in a burst of color, Salvation Mountain is a dramatic contrast against the muted tones of the surrounding parched landscape. What you're looking at isn't just an art installation, it's a life's work. This mountain was created by Leonard Knight, a man who spent decades building it by hand using adobe clay, straw, and layers upon layers of donated paint. What started as a simple idea grew into something much bigger, covered in bright colors, hand-painted messages, and symbols of faith that can be seen from miles away. Leonard arrived in this remote corner of the California desert in the 1980s with a mission to share a message of love. Over the years, he rebuilt the mountain multiple times, learning through trial and error how to make it stand against the harsh desert conditions. Today, Salvation Mountain stands as a symbol of persistence, creativity, and belief, maintained by volunteers who continue his work after his passing. In the middle of an unforgiving desert, one person turned a barren piece of land into a message that's impossible to ignore. For us, two individuals who place our faith in the salvation of Christ, it was interesting to consider this place, to wonder about the man who created it, and to ponder what kind of impact it has had in this strange and desolate feeling land. Just beyond Salvation Mountain, the pavement ends, and a very different kind of place begins. This is Slab City, a place often described as one of the last free places in America, a community choosing to live outside the traditional system. Once a World War II Marine training base known as Camp Dunlap, all that remains today are the concrete slabs that gave this place its name. When the military left, so did everything else: utilities, infrastructure, and any real connection to the outside world. But people have made their home here. Over time, Slab City became a refuge for those looking to live differently, off-grid, off-map, and outside the expectations of modern society. No electricity lines, no running water, no governing body or official rules, just a patchwork of campers, makeshift homes, and a community built on independence and survival. Some come here for freedom, others because they have nowhere else to go. It's a place that can feel both welcoming and uncertain at the same time. Some see this place as inspiring, others see it as unsettling. As we drove through this area in the oppressive heat, there weren't many signs of life. Despite living non-conventionally in our 60-square-foot home on wheels, it was hard for us to imagine living in a place such as this, with no plumbing, no running water, no electricity, no trash pickup, and no relief from the desert heat. Honestly, we were unsettled by it. Deeper into the desert, there's East Jesus. Despite the name, it's not religious. It's an ever-evolving outdoor art installation, built from discarded materials, broken electronics, and salvaged objects. East Jesus feels like a post-apocalyptic gallery, where creativity thrives in chaos. Nothing here is polished, nothing is predictable. Art spills out into the sand, raw, unfiltered, and constantly changing with each new person who leaves their mark. Together, Slab City and East Jesus exist in a space that challenges expectations. It's not quite a town, not quite an art exhibit, it's something in between. A place where freedom, survival, creativity, and contradiction all collide. And whether you see it as inspiring or unsettling, it's a place you won't forget.
So we've been driving, and all of a sudden there are sand dunes everywhere. You know what that means, you guys. I love sand dunes. I don't know if I'm gonna run in these or not, but I definitely gotta get some pictures. It's awesome. That is awesome. Look at these.
So we're not 100% sure where we are. So we're looking at the map, and it looks like we are in a town called Mesquite or Mesquite.
Is it Mesquite?
Maybe.
Mesquite? Super fun, unexpected treat. Very, very cool. My goodness, do I love sand dunes.
It was a lot of fun. One of these days we're going to have to get our hands on one of those dune buggies or razors or whatever they're called. They look like a ton of fun. Alright, so we just crossed into Arizona, and that's the home of the Grand Canyon. And it got me to thinking, what if states traded landmarks? Like, let's say Arizona all of a sudden started negotiations with New Jersey. And New Jersey was like, hey, we'll trade you the Grand Canyon for the shore.
Kind of like real life Monopoly. my first saguaro cacti. I love them.
I think the proper way to say that is cactuses is us.
What does this say? 14-day, yep. No, it says register with host.
Continue on Road 244 for 1.5 miles.
Where's a host? How do you... Well, we have made our way to Quartzsite, to BLM land. Does that make us finally officially van lifers?
Does that mean we'll finally get our van life membership card in the mail?
So, where do you want to go, Steve?
The sunset right about over there. So that would make east
The other
that way? No.
Knucklehead. Well, we've not been on camera since last evening when we got here to Quartzsite, pretty much because it was a pretty long and hot day and we were ready to crash when we got here. So I'm interested now to hear your thoughts on Bombay Beach.
Well, very eclectic area. Am I saying that right? All the different pieces of art were very interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it was terribly hot, because we probably could have enjoyed it a little bit more than we did. But it was hot and kind of buggy. But interesting still, the things that we were able to see and interact with. Very interesting area and how it is kind of arranged and blocked off, and to see the way some people are living there. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting just because of the history, and the sea also looks pretty cool. It actually looked really neat as we were driving into the area. It kind of looked more like a brilliant blue. We didn't actually get too close up to it while we were there, just because it was so hot and we would have had to walk that much further to get down to the water. Also, I guess it's supposed to be a little bit toxic, so maybe it's not too bad that we didn't get closer to the water. But yeah, if it hadn't been so hot, I mean, it was pretty brutal. It was in the mid-90s, 95, 96, and when that sun is beating down, man. So we tried to see some of the key things and then kind of get out of there, and there were flies everywhere. We have definitely been having some issues with flies the last couple days.
Yeah.
We've had so many flies in the van. So we've actually dug out our bug screen that we've been using. We just put magnets on it and put it outside the door when we have the door open. So, yeah, it was fascinating. Definitely worth the drive down to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we checked out Salvation Mountain and Slab City, and that is just certainly different. And
Very unique. Salvation Mountain is very interesting. It's certainly, I mean, there's a lot of messaging behind it, obviously, but the way it was constructed is kind of fascinating. And I don't know, I didn't do a whole lot of research on how they constructed it, but it looked like kind of they just poured almost like a thin layer of cement right over top of the dirt.
it's actually adobe, and I don't know how much of that material is there. And then it's covered with layers of paint. It looks like they have just repainted and repainted and repainted. So as you walk on it, some of the materials actually like cracked the paint, because I mean it's got to be really thick paint after all these years. And some of the area, you had to follow a certain path up the yellow brick road. You weren't supposed to go off that, and it felt a little precarious. It would have been easy to fall, I think, because the paint is, it's a slippery surface.
You got to watch your step at times, for sure.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting climbing up. I didn't realize we'd be able actually to climb up on it, but yeah, that's pretty interesting out there, kind of in the middle of nothing that's out there and has become such a tourist attraction, and that people volunteer their time to be there to give information and to make sure everything's fine there.
And again, it was obviously still very hot, and
especially climbing up on the top.
Yeah, so in times like that, you feel a little bit rushed, and so we probably could have spent a little more time there. And then Slab City itself, which is right next door, talk about interesting. Kind of blows my mind how, I guess, some people are living there.
It's interesting because there's signs of life. There were vehicles there. We saw some animals, but we didn't see many people out and about. Maybe because it was so hot. Can't even fathom living there in the summer months. There's no electricity, no running water, no plumbing. So I can't imagine how they're doing it there.
Yeah, it looked like some people had pretty elaborate solar setups, which would make sense.
I didn't even notice that.
Some did. Some, I don't know. I couldn't see any, so I'm not sure how they're getting, again, power or utilities of any kind. So I can't imagine living like that, but I guess you figure it out.
Some of the structures we saw, you couldn't tell if anybody was actually living there still or not. Some places had burned down. There were some places that were kind of off on their own. And then you could tell that some people were trying to have a sense of community, or maybe pooling their resources and space. It looked like they had some community shared space. There was like a swap shop and maybe I think I saw something labeled like playground and a little library. So very fascinating. And then fascinating to go from there to here in Quartzsite. So there it kind of had the feel of like a transient community, but it seems like most of the people are there actually permanently, at least for a while, short term or long term. And then here in Quartzsite, it's known for people who come and stay for months at a time, maybe longer. So it's just interesting to see those differences, and then also how that relates to how we do life and travel. So all very, very interesting overall.
Yeah, so now we're in Quartzsite, and kind of interesting. You hear a lot about the area. Bob Wells has made it famous, and I think it was featured a little bit in the movie Nomadland. So it's kind of cool to be here and experience it for ourselves, and I really like the spot we're at tonight. It's on BLM land, and I don't know, we just have had a nice day, right?
Yep, so for one, it's a little bit more manageable with the weather. It is, according to weather apps, it was either in the high 80s or low 90s here, but there's been a really nice breeze, and it's been overall not too bad, pretty comfortable. And also, it cools down pretty quickly in the evening. We got here after spending most of the day at the library, and we sat outside for a while. When we first sat outside, it was like 84-ish, and in the shade, it did not feel 84. It was like perfectly comfortable, And then by the time we were ready to come inside for the night, it was probably like low 70s.
And I think that's what kind of makes it doable. Sure, the days are a little bit on the warm side, but then the nights cool off pretty nicely. So helps to make it manageable.
Yeah, so just like at Joshua Tree, it was really nice there to hang out on BLM land. It's very nice here. It's just nice to chill out a little bit in a nice environment. You know, be able to see the stars, actually sit outside the van instead of be all like stealthy inside. So we really enjoyed it. I don't think we mentioned we were in the High Jolly campground area of the BLM area. You can be here for 14 days for free. So we are enjoying our time. We're probably going to head out tomorrow, but for now we are going to get some sleep and we'll see you in the morning. We've enjoyed our morning here at this spot. We kind of just took our time this morning. We've done a little bit of work. Steve made breakfast. We've just enjoyed our surroundings. Now we're going to head back to the library in Quartzsite, and then we are heading east.
All right, this is where we're going to leave you for this episode. As always, we love hearing from you, so drop us a comment below. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button, and until next time, we'll see you.
If you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron by using the link on the screen that we've also included in the video description, along with information about today's adventure and our channel. A special thank you to all our patrons. We appreciate your ongoing support. Thanks for coming along with us on this van life adventure. Please take a second to hit the like button below, leave a comment to let us know you're watching, and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget you can also connect with us and see my photos of the places we visit on our Facebook and Instagram.
We were just driving. There are sand dunes. You know what that means?
It means I'm going to sneeze.
Dang.
Hoofa.
Ready?